Dear Xavier, we are really grateful for your presence and for this moment of discussion and sharing that you agreed to have with us. Without further delay, because I know that Heimer's waiting for your intervention, your speech, sorry, I leave the floor to Xavier, whom I'd like to thank once again. The
Thank you,
floor is
Maria.
yours.
Thank you, Maria Alice. This is who I am. So good morning, everyone. Super happy to be with you today. Give you a little bit about backgrounds of me. I've been working for more than 20 years in North America. As you can see, I was lucky and fortunate enough to live in Toronto. I don't know if I can say if I have been fortunate enough to live in St. Louis, but here we go. You learn from every places you've been, and lived in the East Coast in Philly and on the West Coast in San Francisco. And I think during our discussion with Marie Alice, when she asked me, how is it that you've been able to operate in North America? I think I've been fortunate enough to have a family that has a multicultural background, and that we have become as a family, the four of us, a multicultural family. And I think this is one element of what defines me on, my ability to operate in multiple countries and multiple cultures, is this ability to be open to the world. And I think and very much value the differences of everyone in every country. What defines me also is my passion for traveling the world, my passion for martial arts, and I have to say that I've learned a lot about how to apply some of the martial arts technique when it comes to behaving into the business. I'm a big fan of controlling your emotions. I'm a big fan of all the benefits that what martial arts philosophy can bring you to business life. I love riding my motorcycle, and I was fortunate enough to have two amazing mentors in my life, one being my grandmother, and the other one was Henry Lagarde, the previous CEO, global CEO of Royal Canin. And my grandmother was an amazing lady, unfortunately, but she really taught me how to value work and how to be authentic in life. Yeah. Henry Lagarde was probably the most challenging CEO to work with, the more passionate person to work with. I remember a time where I was so proud to present to him some budgets that were about my business growing by 30%. And he looked at me and he said, Mr. Unkovic, because in France, you say Mr., you don't say Xavier. So he was French. And he said, Mr. Unkovic, why not 50%? And again, this is a kind of leader that pushes you to do better and with a great deal of passion. So two great mentors in my life. My style when it comes to leadership is very inclusive. I'm a big fan of defining your own purpose in life. And my personal purpose is to make a difference to people's life and the planet. And I'm a big fan of being a servant leadership and building effective team and high performing team, because I believe that the way you do business is together with people and not by yourself. So having leadership is one thing, but being able to bring together a team and having people following you as a team or as an individual is critical. So emotional intelligence has played a big deal in my career, and culture fit as well. So being authentic, having the humility to accept that you have to learn every day and that you need to develop on an ongoing basis. And this is what really martial arts also brings you, and brings you when it comes to who you are in your life, where when you become a black belt in karate, this is the day you become officially a white belt. And when you're a third degree black belt, you learn that you're going to get your 10th degree black belt when you're going to die. And it's because your philosophy and the philosophy in life in martial arts is about learning and continuing and developing on an ongoing basis. So that's a little bit about who I am as a leadership style. And Marie-Alice described very well what I've done. And I was fortunate enough to to be working for businesses that were very engaging when it comes to my sense of purpose and the sense of purpose of the businesses I've worked with. And I kept a lot of friends in business because I love working with people. So this is what I've done. This is who I am. And let's talk a little bit about the food business in North America. And I took that image because I think this pretty, that, especially for people in Europe, that's probably what food is for all of you. And as much as this is a picture that probably describes food in North America, for most of you, I don't think this is the reality in today's world when it comes to food in North America. And I have a great news to share with you. But let's wait a little bit. And I think the reason why that pictures describe well what food was for people in America is because it was very much a volume and low price business approach with no taste. Yeah. And I think if I ask most of the people to say, how do you describe food in North America, this is the picture that I've shown that describe it pretty much. But as I said, a good news for you, because that world is changing. And it's changing. And those are the new pictures I have to share with you. So the picture on the bottom right is a picture of when you enter today in North America, a Walmart store. So I don't know if you know well Walmart, but this is the #1 retailer in the world. And now entering those stores, mega stores, that's the first impression you have and the first feeling you have. So organic in North America means bio in Europe. Yeah. So, and you can see a lot of now fast food chains that are becoming organic. You can see ingredients, and you can see the role of a new food coming up in the world here in North America. And that's what's changing significantly. And it's driven by two mega trends, which is no surprise for people in Europe because it follows very well what's happening in Europe, is sustainability and health and well-being. So let's talk first about sustainability. In North America, like everywhere in the world now, the good news is sustainability matters more. So of course, when you hear Donald Trump and you see some elements of politics here in North America, you don't see much changes in politics. But I'm a true believer that the world is changing through corporations, not through politics. Politics follows and don't lead anymore. And in today's world, corporates in North America are definitely leading the world because food and climate change are definitely intersected and terribly linked. We know this. Our planet is in crisis. No surprise. Yeah, this is no new news for anyone. And consumers today, the good news is consumers, you on the call, myself, we have a choice. We have a choice to make a difference in people's life, and we have the choice to make a difference in the planet life. And I'm a true believer that consumers can vote with their wallet, and that's a good news. Yeah. And when you know some of the facts, especially when it comes the impact of meat in the world, and the impact of what the meat industry is bringing in terms of developing an unhealthy planet, it tells you a lot about what the future can be if we reduce the meat consumptions in the world. Yeah, if we vote with our basket when it comes to incorporating more elements of vegetables and fruits in what we eat every day. Look at the impact of climate change linked to meat production. It's way greater and better than the road, the rail, and the air impact that every day the media are talking to you about. Look at the carbon footprint of the meat industry in the world. So I think it's mind-blowing. It's interesting, like the British should say, and it's no new news, but those are news that are becoming more relevant in the food industry, and not only in the food industry, in all industries in the world when it comes to how we can make a difference as consumers and how consumers in the world can make a difference. So that's important because that drives a complete understanding of how food and the food industry can have an impact on developing a better world and healing the planet that is much needed today. Look at the need in terms of vegetables and grains to produce a 1 pound and water 1 pound of meat versus just eating proteins from vegetables and that's very interesting. And this is what consumers are starting to realize here in North America. Look at the impact of conventional agriculture versus bio or organic agriculture and how the soil can absorb carbon dioxide and can drive also the impact of building a better planet for the next future to come. So as you can see, this is very significant, and there's quite a revolutions happening in the consumer's mindset about how we can through what we consume make a difference every day. So now you're probably going to ask me the questions: is it real? Are the consumers voting really with their wallets today in North America? So that's the latest feedback from consumers right after COVID. And there was a question asked: would you say environment is more or less important to you today than it was in 2019? And look at the response of North American consumers. So guess what's happening? Yeah. Look at the other information here on how consumers today are supporting companies that have a critical impact on the planet. This is pretty mind-blowing also. And this is North America. This is not Europe. Yeah. So this is why I was saying it has nothing to do with Mr. Trump or his administration. It has to do by this social awareness and this global awareness by North American consumers. And obviously the industry is following. And this is why you see brands like us, but not only, many brands coming to life and many industries coming to life in providing those benefits and those what we call plant-based diets that are significantly surging at retail. And I'll share with you some of the numbers that we are experiencing in terms of growth as a business. And this is pretty mind-blowing. Yeah. So you can see the impact of food and the planet, and that's the first mega trend. Now let's talk about health and well-being. And I think there's nothing new also for people in Europe, and especially in Greece. But it was 371 years before Christ when Hippocrates was saying, let's be your food, your first medicine. Yeah. And I think the humanity in general went a little bit away from this. But now look at the impact of food around longevity. No surprise that most of the disease today can really not being can really being impacted by how you eat. You're not without knowing how many people are obese in North America. You're not without knowing how many heart disease there is, and it's growing and it's developing in North America. You're not without knowing the impact of food and animal protein when it comes to some disease in the world. And I was recently with the University of San Francisco discussing about how eating well can significantly impact, how long you can live and how well you can live during your older age. And there's a definite impact into health, well-being, and food. No surprise in this. And now you see very serious publications happening now around how exercise, food, stress can really impact your life moving forward. And Harvard Business School today have made an amazing publication around how plant-based diets can help reduce risk of heart disease and how elements of diabetes, and especially type 2 diabetes and prostate cancer, can be fought by combined elements of exercise, diets, and stress relief. Yeah. So the food, funny enough, comes back to be at the center plate of everything we should be doing. Not to mention the elements of chemicals in your diets, and how having an organic food or bio food can help you to fight some of the pesticides that you're facing every day in your plate. I don't know if you knew, but when you're not buying organic food or bio food, you're exposed to 700 different pesticides in everyday's life. So it's time to wake up, and I think this is what Americans are doing: is waking up towards, what it means to eat well, and to eat in the right way, in the right quantity, and with the right type of ingredients. Again, is it real? Is it Xavier's trying to convince you of something completely fake? I don't think so, because look, again, that's the growth of the food industry. Uh, Natural products industry has become the larger portion of total consumer market, indicating a greater impact than ever before when it comes to the growth of natural and organic food industry. Pretty significant. Look at the development of US and natural organic functional food and beverage. They grew more than 2 times than conventional food and beverage in 2019. Pretty significant. And then not only it was at the beginning the movement of small brands, but now larger brands come to play, and larger corporations, are starting to wake up that it has to change. And people are making some personal health commitment, even more so after COVID than before COVID. Yeah, you stay home, you take weight, and you realize that you need to do something and eating healthier and better. Um, look at that statistic, which is pretty amazing as well. Consumer view healthy food and nutrition as more important today than in 2019. Those are pretty good news. Those are pretty good news, because what's happening here is we're building a better world for people, and we're building a better world for the planet. So yes, consumers expect to eat more vegetables and fruits moving forward. That's good news too. Yeah, I remember, when I was living in Normandy with my grandparents, vegetables and fruits were part of our diets every day. And moving forward, we went away from this. Yeah, so it's really coming back to the roots of how we should be eating. Yeah. Uh, Another statistic where health and wellness remain is very important in consideration to how people are shopping in North America, with consumers looking for more real food and more simple ingredients. I think with the yeah, the food industry, we went through significant low quality ingredients, significant massive production, and we went away from what benefits us in our health and well-being, and what benefits the soil, and what benefits the planet. And the good news is it's 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 working. It's working. It's The consumers are very receptive to those two mega trends. They are making purchasing decisions, and this is what's changing the food industry from the first picture I've shown you, where you see those McDonald's, you see those Coca-Cola, you've seen those candies bars, and this is changing, and this is going to change for a long time. So good news. It's also challenging for businesses, by the way, because now here we come. It's a completely different business model. It's not only about low cost, it's not only about volume, it's about making sure you're doing the right thing as a business, and you're putting back the consumer at the center plate of everything you do, and not trying to squeeze every pennies of your business in order to feed people what's not good for them. Yeah. And you see some brands like us making significant stride and having significant success. And if I want to prove it to you by numbers, those are Nielsen data. And as you can see, Amy's, this is the green bar, is growing faster than any other brands in the categories we operate within. So as you can see, just the soup category we operate, we're growing by 55%. In the entree categories, which is similar to what Picard will serve you, which is a prepared meal, we're growing by 24%. So pretty stunning growth numbers. And again, it's all from what the consumers is doing. It's all from how the consumer is voting with their wallet. And it's all also about people in the business now that are starting to do the right thing for the right for the planet and for the consumers. So it's pretty exciting when now people start to really cook for you, yeah, and not assemble products. It's pretty exciting when now industry is starting to do the right thing for the planet and not just try to do not care about what's the consequences are. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and I hope that news is in the midst of so many bad news in the world today with COVID and with what's happening out there. It's reassuring that, and my invitation to all of you on the call is eat more vegetables and eat more fruits. That's going to make a significant difference to the world and to yourself. So now, if you have questions for me about what I've done and what the business is doing, I'm delighted to answer any of those. And I'm going to
Wow.
start sharing my presentation. I
Thank
went probably
you.
fast, but I wanted to make sure that I was able to answer any questions as well. So
Thank you so much. It was amazing, really. Thank you, Xavier.
you're
And
welcome.
as Xavier asked to you, if you have any question, don't hesitate. It's the good moment. Please don't be shy, Amos. Coucou.
Difficult through digital
Yes,
communication.
I know. Every time it's the same. It's difficult. Please, you have the opportunities to talk with Xavier, please.
Hello,
Hello.
Ah,
Denis speaking. Thank you very much for your presentation. It has been amazing indeed. I've got just one question. When you were presenting the figures, you were speaking about growth for organic, growth
Yep.
for total consumption. What about decreasing? Because if we all go to organic and if we really understand all that, we will have to eat less and eat better,
Yep.
then the market will be a decrease at the end. And how do you feel with that?
Well, it's a good question because I think the bio industry or the organic industry is creating value. Yeah. And if you eat less, you have to have more value. Yeah. So you cannot on the name of growth kill the world and kill people. Yeah. And I think this is what the world is realizing today. So I feel pretty good, to be perfectly honest, when the right people get rewarded and when the people that are doing the right thing get rewarded. And I think it's a change where farmers, yeah, and also companies are trying to do the right thing. Yesterday, I was blown away. I don't know, I was born in France, and I know the Chocobien. You know the Chocobien.
Yes,
You
for
know,
sure.
I mean, this is an amazing product. Did you know that now they have Chocobien in bio? Yeah. That's fantastic. So I think you can really come back to what at least when I was eating when I was a child in Normandy, my grandfather was having a little garden, and we were eating fruits and vegetables from that little garden. Yeah, and back to what we need as human beings is we need to eat well to live well. And back to what you mentioned, if the growth is about not living well and not eating well, I don't care that people decline, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I have no sympathy for people that are doing the wrong thing in business, doing the wrong thing. And fair enough, I have all word of encouragement for people making the switch and decided to change. Yeah. And again, I'm not judging here. I'm just saying, let's do it differently. Yeah. And you will get growth when you do the right thing. I've never seen business doing the right thing and doing it well that don't see growth. It probably takes time. It's probably hard work. It you need courage for sure. But to see Chocobin in bio, I'm just super happy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Last question, how do you feel with, or do you think it would be good to help people making their own food?
Ah, good
Yeah,
question.
I think of course, people. It's important that people can learn how to cook and develop that skill. In the meantime, we're preparing, food and cooking for others because I don't think everyone can cook every day all the time. So I think it's good to give options to people. If there's food that is prepared food, it has to be good food. And of course, if people have time, energy after work or workout to do their and cook their own food, that's fantastic as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
There is a question from Jean. If more and more Americans convinced of the ravage of junk food on health and the planet, and they are turning to organic food. But in fact, most of them are from the urban areas on the east and the west coast, very sensitive to the local. The millennials generation is the core target. How the rest of American population is changing?
It is changing, and if anyone, I forgot to say, Marie-Alice, if anyone wants to ask me a question in French, I can understand French, and of course will be happy to speak French a little bit, but as you wish. It is changing, and the reason why I'm super excited about the change is when I was showing you the pictures of the retail stores, and that was an entrance of a Walmart store. Walmart and Costco, which are the two biggest retailers in North America, are becoming the leading retailers in the bio and organic. So, for example, in France, the ones that were leading in bio as the Bio Cup or the little stores, and here in North America, those are the big, massive store that are leading the food culture change. And I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying it's happening. I'm not saying it's the majority today, but the trend is there. The growth is there, and in, let's say, 10 years from now, most of the industry will be organic. This I'm convinced. When I first moved to North America back in 1999, the coffee was awful. The food was, you couldn't eat well in North America. Yeah, that was impossible. East west, that was no good. Yeah. Today you have, the life in California is amazing when it comes to food and wine. You go on the East Coast, you can find beautiful vegan, vegetarian restaurants, choices where fresh, organic markets. I mean, the revolution is happening. How long is it going to take? I think it's going to be an additional 10 years, yeah, where it's going to be well established, but it's happening. I mean, people are dying because of the malbouffe. Yeah, that's a matter of fact. If you go into the center of the country, there's so many people that are obese. Yeah, there's one key element that you need to take into consideration in the U.S. where people pay for their health and their health care. Yeah, so people in the U.S. don't have the luxury of a social security. Yeah, and when you're sick in France, you don't know how much it costs you. Yeah, you go to the hospital or you go to your doctor and you're happy, you go out, you have not paid anything.
Yeah.
Well, in the US, yeah, when you enter the hospital and take one day costs you $12,000. Yeah, and if you're obese and you don't have a good health coverage through your company, you cannot cure yourself. Yeah, basically, yeah, you're going to die from what you have, and it's a very tough country to live in. And obviously, food is your first medicine, and people will change because not only they're going to have they're going to understand it's a better life for them, but they're not going to be able to pay their medicine to cure them, yeah, or be cured at the hospital. And that's a very sad news when it comes to how tough the life is in the US. But this is why also people won't have any choices.
Yes. Yes. If you don't care on your wellness, you will take care of your badness.
And you should see the number of companies that are putting health and wellness program in their and forces you to have an annual doctor check and forces you to do exercise and pay your gym membership today, not because they want to be nice, because they understand if you're in good health, they're going to pay less in terms of healthcare cost in the company. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
The
you.
healthcare cost for Amy's has increased by 25% this year.
Yes. I have another question. Thank you
Yes.
so much for explaining the importance of changing attitudes. Attitudes towards our food. Along with impact as a business, it is of course still key to have food people like. I've got Amy's products in my kitchen as we speak. It's Amna. Where do you find inspiration for the food you cook? And what does the development process look like to honor and maintain the wholeness of those ingredients?
Okay, so love it. A long question with a lot of answers. And so let's talk about the ingredients. We're sourcing all of our ingredients through farmers, mostly in the West Coast in California, as California is the #1 place of organic ingredients, and most of the fruits and vegetables in the US are coming from California. So this is somewhat why we're established here in California. And when I say we cook for you at Amy's, that's definitely it. So if one day you pass by one of our what we call kitchen, which is our manufacturing sites, basically we cook from scratch. We bring organic and whole foods ingredients into our manufacturing, and similar to what you do in your own kitchen, we cook. Yeah, we peel our own onions. We make our own soups in the big pots. The pots are just bigger, and the spoon are just bigger at Amy's than in your own kitchen. But we do cook like you would cook at home. Yeah, cooking from scratch. And then we package our products, and and most of our products are frozen. And I don't know if you're aware, but frozen is very healthy. Yeah, people will tell you frozen is not fresh. I will tell you fresh is not fresh, because when you sell frozen products, you don't have to put any antioxidants in your products, because there's no reason to have oxidations. So I don't know if you remember your grandmother when she was making too much soups, where she was putting the soup in the freezer, because that was the best way to take care of it. Yeah. So that's the way we make our food. We cook, yeah, and we have big kitchens. That means this is why, as I mentioned around the business model, it's a very costly business model, because the cost of ingredients and the cost of the making is very high. And you have a different business model when it comes to marketing dollars, promotional dollars. So you promote less, you don't do TV advertising, and at the end of the day, the consumer is definitely voting with the tasting. Yeah. Did I answer all the questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I think that that kind of covers it for sure. Really appreciate, the care and the thought that goes into that. And I was also wondering a little bit about where some of the inspiration for the products that you
yes, my apologies. It's very simple. We're lucky enough to have amazing relationships with chefs, restaurants, chefs. So we have an amazing relationship with everyone's that are vegetarian chefs in North America, but also in Europe. They do have our products in their freezers. So most of the chefs, as you know, work very hard, long hours, and when they come back home, if they want something to eat, most of them eat Amy's. And I'm not joking here. There was a beautiful article in the Chicago Tribune that was saying what's in the fridge of the top 10 chefs in Chicago, and all of them were carrying Amy's products. And because of that amazing relationship, we're able to have an ongoing dialogue on what's working, what's not working at their restaurants, and understands the increasing needs of global flavors. And this is why you see significant innovations coming from Amy's around global flavors, Greek dishes, Moroccan dishes. So we're very much at the edge because we understand the consumer needs from what they eat at the restaurant levels. Yeah.
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Danny from UK. Thank you, Xavier, for your presentation. You mentioned that it's now down to businesses to lead the way for change rather than politics,
Yep.
other than leading by example. How does Amy's Kitchens affect change in government policy or in the attitude of the other businesses?
It's a great question. So we're not very good at lobbying, to be perfectly honest. And the reason why we're not good at lobbying is because we're good at making food. So we don't believe this is our job, but we believe in belonging to organization like the organic trade associations, and that do the work to help politicians to understand that this is serious business. Yeah. So I remember a point of time where at the beginning, the organic industry was not very well considered by politicians, especially here in the US. But I was recently supporting the organic trade industry by going to the Capitol, meeting with senators and congressmen to share with them the importance of the organic food industry. And now we've reached a total of over $50 billion. Now the congressmen look at us and say, well, that's business, yeah? And when you tell them, listen, you need to start to pass law that support that particular industry with a $50 billion under your wing, you're very credible, yeah? And I think this is like everything, is you're going to be able to make an impact according to your size and according to the coalition you're about to build. And we are truly believers that with one brand, there's very little impact you can have, but as an organization or as an industry, and belonging to those organizations is very critical. So we're belonging to as many organizations that have an ethical approach and can make an impact.
Great. Anita, thank you for your presentation, Xavier. What are the trends for GMO foods, and how does this fit into the bio model and the movement toward healthy food that is going on?
Oh, GMO, that's a big thing, you know. So with GMO, the GMO piece, we created a monster, so to speak. So let me go back. First, when you're organic, you do not have GMO. So that's it. That's a given. Yeah. Organic means no GMO. Now, a lot of food companies have used the non-GMO logo or trademark to try to fool consumers by saying my products are safe for you because they are non-GMO. So it's not true, because you can have products full of pesticides that are non-GMO. Yeah.
Right.
So if you want to have non-GMO products that are healthy for you to eat with no pesticides, you have only one choice, is organic. Yeah. If you want a product with non-GMO, then we have no GMO. Yeah. But it doesn't guarantee you that the product will be having no pesticides. And as you know, there's 700 pesticides that are used commonly in the food industry to protect the crop, to increase the yield. And fair enough, the non-GMO is good, but it's not great. Yeah. So it's one step forward, it's not the complete step. Yeah. When it comes to taking a better care of people and taking better care of the soil, and the regenerative agriculture is not guaranteed through non-GMO. Yeah.
Thank you, Xavier.
You're welcome.
From UK, the UK, Ash Pollock. What's the biggest challenge facing Ayming? Ayming is really close to Amy's. So,
Yeah.
what's the biggest challenge facing Amy's from an innovation perspective, and how are you adapting to the change?
The biggest challenge in innovation, I think for us, the biggest challenge is about reaching more to consumers, for consumers to try our products. Yeah. When it comes to innovation, we love what we do every day when it comes to food and cooking. So when it comes to bringing new products to life, we do what we've done for the last 30 years, and we love to innovate. So this is in our DNA. So we don't have that pressure of new products, or so to speak, the white page of not knowing what to do, because we have as I mentioned, a network of partners of chefs in the world that helps us to be relevant in innovation. But for us, the biggest challenge is very much to spread the word, knowing that most of our investment are in the food, in the making, and in the ingredients. So we don't have marketing budgets to do TV advertising. So we're very much, in the concept of wondering how, and especially through social and digital, how we can reach out to more people to spread the word of come and taste our products, come and discover what we do well. And not only us, that's not only Amy's problem, it's the problem of everyone in the industry that do well for the consumers, because we don't have those massive budgets of marketing and advertising, because most of our dollars are spent in the food, and in the making. So and that's our biggest challenge.
The last question from Spain, Carlos Artal. Double question here. What motorcycle do you have and makes you happy driving?
I have a Triumph, and I love Triumphs. So I have a European motorcycle. I don't drive American motorcycle, and I'm sorry for everyone that is a big fan of Harley. I don't, because it shakes all the time and it's not very reliable. But I love mid-century motorcycles that have that are timeless design. Yeah.
And the second one, as your company gets bigger, what are your drivers to stay fast, angry, and humble? Humble.
Yeah, I think this is in your culture, Marie-Alice, is if you stay true to who you are. I don't think a size is an issue. I think size becomes an issue when it comes to keeping your culture. So that's the biggest challenge. As you grow and develop, you want to make sure you hire for, of course, the right functional competencies, but you also hire people for the right culture fit. So we spend a lot of time hiring for the right culture fit, because, let's be honest, we all, everyone is, what is more common from a CEO to another CEO? Same, you take me or somebody else, we have the same functional competencies. We went pretty much to the same school. We learned the same technique. What's more common from a CFO to another CFO? Yeah. What's really unique is the ability for you to be the right fit for the company you work for, and that's what I spend the most time on. Is resumes are resumes, and people are very talented overall, in what their role and their function. What makes a difference is getting the right people for the right job in the right culture, and I'm a big fan of being in the right bus and in the right seat. Yeah. And my job is to make sure we hire people to be in the right bus.
Yes. Very nice. I believe the same than you, Alors, sorry, but two new questions. Blake from California. Have you seen the plant-based protein market pose any risk or opportunities for Amy's?
What is the plant-based protein market? is it the are you talking about Beyond Meat?
Yeah,
or
like Impossible Foods, for example.
Yeah, I think, Blake, it's a great opportunity. Again, we don't believe we know it all at Amy's. We have we have a unique DNA, which is we are vegetarian and we're making food from real ingredients. Yeah. So Beyond Meat is taking a different approach, which is also better because I think they're reducing meat protein in the in everyone's and consumers' choice every day, and we're very respectful of what they do. We're just different, you know. So if you think about the car industry, you have different brands for different people's choice, and we don't believe that we know the truth. We believe we're just offering a type of products that is different than them, but we very much value what they do. Yeah, they do an amazing job as well.
Thank you. Judita Villa. Judita is our communication director at group level. Hello, Xavier. Thanks a lot for your speech. You mentioned that it's especially important for you to generate performance by working with your team. Which is your key ingredient in this new way of smart working distance working to be successful with your team?
You know, I have to be honest, I really struggle with this digital world. Personally, I'm an extrovert. I take energy from meeting with people and being with people. So I'm super fortunate that we have 3 manufacturing sites that are in operation, that are not digitally connected, so to speak, because we're making food. So I'm very often in our manufacturing sites today. Yeah. With my team, we had the luxury to really work together and work what we call a high performing team agenda. And what this means, that means as a team, we have a clear purpose and clear direction. We believe we've built a team with the right people being in the right seats. We're promoting full accountability. We have the right process, and we have what I call real talks. So we're practicing radical candor. Yeah. And those elements, you know, accelerate the ability for you to be very close to each other. And I'm not saying this is la la land. I'm not saying this is beautiful, beautiful world. I'm saying sometimes we really, really are tough with each other. Yeah. But like a family could be. Yeah. Telling each other the truth, helping each other to learn and reflect and grow and develop. Yeah. And allowing us not to have to agree with each other, and having the right decision-making process. So we've practiced those what I call high-performing team attributes prior to COVID, and we were fortunate enough to enter COVID with those in mind, so we can continue. Now, if you would have told me building through digital communication a team, I don't know how to do this. I mean, that hiring people and working with people and not having worked with people, but just digital communication. I don't know. You know, I'm not very comfortable, to be honest, in this new world. I think I'm missing people tremendously. I'm not only, I love digital communication when it comes to one-on-one. I hate it when it comes to teamwork. They're very difficult.
Yes.
I cannot see people's eyes. I cannot see body language. I can understand really the impact you have on people. Everything you learn about what's critical in emotional intelligence go away through a computer. So I'm sorry, I'm not probably the best at it.
Thank you. The last one, and after that we have to stop because Xavier have to go, and me too. Why we don't find so many Amy's products in France?
Well, that's a great question. So first, I was very surprised. First, we were very well distributed at Picard. You know, Picard, the famous chain. And one of the reasons why we were having a lot of product at Picard is because we we were the only gluten-free brand, frozen brand in the world, and they really wanted something to help people to have the choice. And then Picard, as always, do a very good job developing their own products. Yeah, and that's their strategy. So I had multiple discussions with them, and I say, why are you distributing our products? And they were very clear and say, well, until we found someone that can do a good job like you do at our private level, and they really invited us to do their own products, and we don't want to because we don't have enough capacity. Now, I have to be honest, we're not doing a good job in France. We're doing a good job, an okay job in the UK. And we're in the process to find a partner in France to help us to achieve our goals. And we're having discussion as we speak with an amazing company, family owned as well, to help us to grow and develop our business in France. We have presence in Carrefour, and again, is like we've not done a good job. We will. And I'm a true believer in having partners in every country. We operate beyond our core markets. And France, very soon, I hope in 3 to 6 months, we're going to have a strong partner, and you will see more Amy's in France.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting for me. Yeah.
Good news. Thank you, dear Xavier, for this moment of discussions. Your experience and your analysis offer us a new vision and a new perspective on the current crisis, which has not finished changing our lives and business. We have to stop now, but we could go on for a long time as the subject is so exciting. I wish you a nice day, as it's still morning at your place.
Yes. Yes.
And that you all, thank you all for your participation, and see you soon. It was really a great moment, Xavier, and I am very proud to welcome you today and to introduce you to the Aymers team. Very proud.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
Merci pour tout. À bientôt.
À bientôt.